Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications so that whenever I post, you can know immediately. Today, I wanted to talk to you guys about autism and love, and autism and romance. Valentine's Day is coming up. If you don't have a Valentine, that's totally okay. I don't have a Valentine. I think that there's a lot of pressure to have a Valentine, especially when, like, if you're single, or it's already hard enough being on the spectrum, but when it comes to autism and relationships, things can be a bit complicated. Now, I think that one good idea to have when you start dating someone or before you start looking for someone to date is to decide whether or not you want a neurotypical person or if you want someone who is also autistic. I think that those different types of relationships can present different issues, but here is a general discussion of autism and romance. So, autism does affect social communication, sensory processing, and emotional regulation, which can influence romantic interactions. Every autistic person is unique, so their experiences will vary, but one struggle that you may have in relationships is communication. Communication is so important in relationships. Autistic people may prefer direct and clear communication rather than relying on social cues or implied meanings. If you need your partner to do something, it's really better to just state it bluntly. If you're a neurotypical person dating an autistic person, I think you should just be blunt about what you want from them, honestly, because it can be so confusing to us. Instead of just waiting around expecting them to do something a certain way, they may not know that something hurts your feelings, or that the absence of that act that you need from them to feel loved. Like, we won't know. So we need you to tell us. If you could just be direct about what you want, what you like and don't like, please just think of that. And I think that it's the same in reverse. So if you need something from your partner as an autistic person, you have to find a way to communicate that, whether it's speaking vocally or if it's in written language. Some of us communicate better in written conversation. If you need something from your partner or if you need to set a boundary, I think that it's better to just be blunt about what you want, because if you don't, down the line, it will fester and it will cause issues. It's better to just be direct about what you need or things that are bothering you. So direct and clear communication is a big issue with us. Must be direct and clear. Sorry, that was my bunny. I don't know if you heard that. Understanding each partner's communication style can reduce misunderstandings and strengthen the relationship. You may not communicate like your partner does. I've been in situations where I didn't communicate the same way as my partner, and I totally didn't understand. Stop, Ginger. Sorry, my bunny's being so bad. Understanding each partner's communication style. Maybe your partner is not the type to be direct about what they want, which is not great when autism comes into the mix. It's really just better to state what you want. But if you know that your partner doesn't usually say things that directly, maybe they're worried about sounding rude or they're scared to make you angry, I'm not saying that you should pay attention to when they start tiptoeing around things, but if you happen to notice that, maybe you could bring it up and ask if it's an issue, or just open a conversation about it. It doesn't have to get heated. If you guys are mature, you can explain what you want in a mature way without it turning into an argument. There are some things to consider when dealing with autism and romance, like sensory issues, sensory sensitivities that your partner may have if they're on the spectrum, or that you may have if you're on the spectrum, like touch, sound, and light. If your partner is loud, you may love your partner very much, but you may get frustrated when they start being loud because you have sensory issues. Ginger, stop it. Because they have sensory issues. So maybe you need things a little quieter sometimes, or maybe you need alone time. You might be the type of person who needs a lot of alone time. That's something that you have to communicate with your partner. But if they're not willing to give you space, that could be a huge issue in your relationship. If you're the type of person who needs space often, then it's just very important that you communicate that. When dealing with your partner, you should discuss boundaries, comfort levels, alternative ways to express love and connection, because you may not express love and connection the same way that your partner does. Sometimes autistic people will sometimes we think that we're expressing love and we're not. It's just like, oh, let me show my partner this show I really, really like. That can be a way of expressing love, but your partner may just think, oh, this person's showing me a show, like I don't really want to watch it. And they may not receive it in a way that they were supposed to. Maybe it wasn't about love for them, but maybe if you figure out what your partner really likes and how they like to receive love, then it will be easier to show them that you do love them. Let's see. What else? Sensory sensitivities, like I was talking about, touch, sound. So like I was saying, a few sensory considerations. When an autistic person has sensory issues concerning touch, I think it's very important to have conversations about them concerning physical affection and the way that they may receive it. A person on the spectrum who has sensory issues with touch may not feel good in the way that you do concerning physical touch. The way that you like to be touched may not be the same for them because we have such different experiences. So it's important to talk about that too. When it comes to emotional expression and connection, autistic individuals may express emotions differently, which can sometimes be misrepresented by neurotypical partners. When it comes to expressing emotions, autistic people, now everyone's different, but autistic people are not that great at it. And sometimes it's because we don't know exactly how we feel in the moment. We may not feel what we feel about a situation until later on. We may not realize how we feel about that. It takes some time to process. There's this processing period for a lot of us. And then we have to figure out how to bring it up without sounding crazy. Like, this happened 3 weeks ago, why are you upset? And then you just say, as an autistic person, you just say like, oh, I don't know, I just realized how I felt about it now. So it can be hard if you don't bring it up in the moment. And that's just because that's not how neurotypical people communicate. When they're upset about something, they are able to bring it up and communicate that immediately. But love and affection can be shown in unique and meaningful ways that may not fit conventional romantic expectations. If you have an autistic partner and they're like, I found this pretty rock when I was walking down the street and it made me think of you. And you may, as a neurotypical, think like, oh, that's weird. Why'd she just give me a rock? But that may be their way of expressing love. They saw something pretty and they thought of you, and so they brought it home to you. That can be a great thing. So I think that a lot of autistic people can show love and connection with someone by involving them in their special interests. Because above all, we do really love our special interests. And when someone gets involved with that, it can be Ginger. It can be very loud, like Ginger. No, it can be very it can be great for your partner, because when you connect with them, you're able to show them that you love them. And I think maybe it's hard for people on the spectrum to express love in a way that neurotypicals understand. Or maybe even if you're two autistic people in a relationship, they may not understand the way that you're expressing love. There are a lot of challenges and misconceptions that go with autism. Like, a common myth is that autistic individuals lack interest in relationships or emotions. But a lot of us do seek deep, meaningful connections. You can't just stereotype like that. Like, autistic people do want love. Differences in social interaction don't mean a lack of love or care. It's just we have different ways of showing it sometimes. There are ways to ensure that you have a healthy relationship, such as therapy or mutual understanding, patience, respect. Those things are essential for any relationship, but especially in neurodiverse partnerships. It's really important that your partner, if they're not autistic and you are, understand things that you struggle with as an autistic person. Because when the time comes that you struggle with something, they might not understand. They may totally misunderstand the situation. They may think that you're being mean when really you just have an issue with this thing or that thing. Or maybe you have sensory issues. Creating routines, discussing expectations, finding compromises, that can help both partners feel secure in the relationship and feel valued. I also recommend that you learn your attachment style before going into relationships. If you don't know what attachment styles are, it's the way that you connect with other people. And trauma or the way that you were just born may or may not have something to do with your attachment style. There's like anxious attachment, there's avoidant attachment, stuff like that. Look it up. Okay, so and that's why I think therapy can help, depending on what your issue is in the relationship. So you really want your partner to feel valued in the relationship, but you also want to feel valued in that relationship. And you want to make sure that you're being treated right. If you're not sure, if you have a friend that you can discuss things with and present the situation and ask, is this fair? Like, I have this situation in this relationship. Can this be fixed? Or they might have some good advice for you. If you don't have any friends, don't freak out. A lot of autistic people don't have any friends. But when it comes to looking for a partner in general, I recommend that you take it very, very slowly. Even if you're ready, even if you feel like, I'm ready to get married, I'm ready to have kids, like, take it slow. Really, you'll never regret taking it slow. The only thing you'll regret is not taking it slow. It's more likely you'll regret not taking it slow than taking things slowly. And what I mean by taking it slowly is just stretch things out. Because like us, like autistic individuals, As time goes on, you may learn more things about that person. And I think that you should wait as long as possible before you get into a relationship. So you know what people call the talking stage, where like you meet someone and you're dating, but you're not official. Like stretch that point out. Learn as much as you can about this person before you jump into a relationship with them. And it can be months and months and months. And if it's really worth it, then you guys can wait. It can be really hard if you jump into things too quickly because, like I said earlier, about not knowing how you feel about things until later on. That may kick in later on. What if you go on a date and things are good and things are fine? But just like what I was saying was just like an autistic person, people have layers and they might be masking too. Autistic individuals do tend to mask. And as you get closer with them and as you get more comfortable, they begin to take those layers off. And so do neurotypicals. They might be hiding their worst qualities from you intentionally, or God forbid, if this is a manipulative person or a narcissist and they're having those manipulative and narcissistic tendencies toward you, that can be extremely painful for a person on the spectrum, and it can be so confusing and horrible. So yeah, be careful guys. And what else? What other advice do I have? I don't know. I'm not like some master romance person. I've been in a relationship before. It's just, I'm not a dating coach. I'm just here to talk about autism. One big piece of advice that I have is to know what you want going into the relationship and don't change that for someone else. If you are dating someone and you know that you want marriage, then don't say like, oh, I really like this person. I don't need to get married. I'll just stay with them. Don't do that. You gotta put yourself first. You have to take care of yourself is to take care of the relationship. But if you guys want different things, ultimately, that's probably not gonna work. I mean, there are compromises you can make, but if you don't want to settle down and your partner does, it's gonna be an issue. Or the reverse, if you want to settle down and this person is not into serious dating, that's probably not gonna change. And I think that you'll save yourself a lot of heartbreak if you can just leave that person alone, take the time to heal, keep your boundaries, and don't change for anyone, because you do not want to end up unhappy in a relationship. And years down the line, or if you're married, you don't want to be in an unhappy marriage. If you don't want kids, don't change that for somebody. If you do want kids, don't change that for somebody, because you'll end up so unhappy. Thank you guys for watching. Happy Valentine's Day. If you have any questions or any recommendations for more videos, you can put it down below in the comments. And thank you for watching. Bye.